Good morning.
Good morning.
Pardon me? Let's do our identity prayer. I know that within myself there is that life which is perfect, complete, divine. It was never born and cannot die, for it lives and is God. Within myself is the wholeness, peace, poise, and power of life. This life is health. It is abundance. It is love. There is one life, and it is the life of God. And this is my life now. And so it is. Yay. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Light of the world. This is a time of light. How many people were at the candle lighting last night? It was fantastic. Just for those of you who weren't there, what we do is we have a big, like a giant kitty litter box. It's a big box of sand. And then we have a candelabra with 7 candles, and in the box of sand is this big white candle. The white candle is the Christ light. And then the Christ light goes to the 7 candles in the candelabra, the 7 attributes of God in us. It is peace, power, beauty, joy, love, light, and wisdom. And we had members of the community come up and light a candle and then share about that attribute. After the 7 candles were lit, we had an opportunity to just turn off all the lights and make the room dark. We turned off the Christmas tree, we turned off the foyer lights, and everyone had their candle. And the light bearers came up and lit their candles off the Christ light with the phrase, "The Christ in me honors the Christ in you." And that light was brought out into this dark room. And each person on an aisle with their unlit candle had an opportunity to light their unlit candle from the candle that was already lighted. And at that moment, the person with the light looked into the eyes of the person who was receiving the light and said, "The Christ in me honors the Christ in you." And then that person would turn and hold their light up, proud and strong, and the person whose candle was yet to be lighted would bend to the light and light their candle at the moment, making eye contact. And the lighted candle would say, "The Christ in me honors the Christ in you." And it was not long before this very dark room was completely illumined with the light that was held by each one here. And I think that that's so symbolic of the Christmas season, because we all start off with this, some people call it a potentiality of light, that we're all made out of God's stuff. So we've got that potential within us to bring forth the light. But you know, sometimes we have a candle that is yet to be lit. For me, it was before I ever found Science of Mind. I didn't know that there was a light inside of me. The outer world was an unlit candle. And then I found that, and I got these words that weren't "The Christ in me honors the Christ in you." It was, God is all that there is. You are an individualized manifestation of the one, and you have all that God has. You are all that God is. The Christ in me, I know who I am, can see the Christ in you. I know who you are. And something ignited within me. They call it a quickening of the soul. Something lit within me. And it changed everything. And so I look at this season as a festival of lights, of a time of enlightenment. And in Science of Mind, what we do is we embrace this idea that since God is all that there is, whoever Jesus was, and there's still great debate about that, but whoever Jesus was, he was not made out of different stuff than each of us. And that there is this opportunity of birthing that is continually going on, and we celebrate it at Christmas time. This is the time where we say we open to the birthing of the Christ consciousness within us, but that's not really right. Because it's not like the Christ consciousness wasn't there. It's not like it comes once a year. There is an ongoing birthing of that light. There's an ongoing expression and bringing into form of that light, of that awareness, of the sonship, of the oneness of us and whatever God is. And this is also the first Sunday after the winter solstice, when the earth has been as far away from the light as it will be all year. And in that moment, the earth changes in its orbit and begins to come closer to the sun again. And so we have returned to the light. We are returning to the light on an inward basis and on an outer basis. And so this idea of being the light of the world has always captured my attention. It's so big. I mean, that there is a light in the world, that there is a light of the world, that there is a light to the world. And we may attribute it to Jesus, but Jesus is the one who said to all of the people on the mount after teaching them the Beatitudes, the blessed are they that, he said, you are the light of the world. He spent all day teaching these people and feeding them by the thousands they gathered, and they listened to his words. And those teachings have both an outer and exoteric and an inner esoteric meaning. And he said, for those who have ears to hear, if you can hear the inner teaching here, then there's an inner teaching. And he spent all day just teaching people. And then he said, you are the light of the world. He didn't say, I've got it all together and I'm the teacher and now I'm going to go. He said, you are the light of the world. And then he said something fascinating to me. It's as if he said, and keep in mind it's been translated over 300 times, so we're not exactly sure what the words are, so I will take license. He said, I've spent all day teaching you how empowered you are, how magnificent you are, how you and the Father are one, how to live that in your life. You are the light of the world. It would be stupid to go and light a lamp and put a bushel over it. He said, don't do that. Don't cover up what you have learned today. Instead, take your light out and shine it before, he said men, but that was genderly biased, shine it before everyone. He said that in essence, now that I have taught you these things, it's your job to go out and shine your light. It's your job to go out, and if you find that you've hidden and said, oh, I'm not a powerful spiritual being, I'm just little old mediocre me. He says if you find yourself doing that, you need to not only take the bushel off your light, but hang your light high. He said to not do that is wrong in the world of right and wrong. Keep in mind that was 2,100 years ago. So he charged them to go out into the world and to shine brightly. And I would imagine that that included sharing what people had just learned. He said, you are the light of the world. And then before he healed the blind man, do you remember when he spit in the dirt and put it on the blind man's eyes? Before he did that, he said, I am the light of the world. And that was as if claiming the authority to heal this man. He said, I am the light of the world, and as long as I am in the world, I will be the light of the world. Now, what in the world could that mean? He says, you are the light of the world, and then he says, I am the light of the world. So I guess we could just include all that to we are the light of the world, and as long as we are in the world, we are the light of it. I don't think he meant the outer world. I don't think that was one of those exoteric teachings. I think that was an esoteric teaching. That we are the light of our world. And as long as we are in our world, we are the light of it. So if we look for light outside of us, chances are it's going to fall short. And I don't know if you've ever seen anyone in darkness. I have. They carry it like a cloud, like the pig pen in Charlie Brown comics. It's as if there is darkness all around them. And I know that that people that I've experienced like that are often grasping for some kind of solution, whether it's drugs and alcohol, whether it's a person, whether it's money, whether it's something that they think is going to make them feel safe and okay. But the truth is that the light that they're looking for is already inside of them. And they have sufficiently busheled it up, probably with a lot of duct tape and tarps and maybe some concrete. They have sufficiently busheled up their light that they're lost. Because we are the light of the world. We are the light of our world. And as long as we are in our world, and we are in our world, then we are the light of it. And so in Christmas time, we talk about opening up to the light, birthing a new light, bringing forth an energy, an awareness of Christ consciousness that knows that I and the Father are one, that there's only one, that whatever God is, we are, and that we can do whatever it is that Jesus did and more. Jesus didn't walk on fire. Next Sunday, we're walking on fire. Granted, he walked on water, but falling into water is a whole different thing. Oh, nobody's coming now. But there is that within us that wants to come forth. And if we have darkness in our life, it's only because we're not shining. If we have something that's not working out, it's only because we haven't chosen to have that solution. I love that Jesus told his disciples to go pull a coin out of a fish. Go catch a fish. They were saying, oh, the tax collectors are coming. What are we going to do? We've got to file our IRS forms. And now it's tax time. And what are we going to do? And he said, oh, shut up. That's again, I'm taking leeway. He said, go catch a fish and open up the mouth of the fish and you'll find a coin and it will be plenty to pay the taxes. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. And they did. And they went fishing and they got a fish and they opened it up and gosh, there was a coin in there. And evidently it was a good coin. It must have been a gold coin because it paid everything that needed to be paid for all the disciples. If we have money problems, we're not letting that which we are come through. All we have to do is go fishing. What does that mean? Fishing for ideas in the water of consciousness to bring forth that which has everything that we need to do whatever it is we need to do. If we're experiencing some kind of blindness, we can't see clearly, we don't know what to do, we don't know what's happening in our world, it's just because we haven't been willing to say, I am the light of the world, I am the light of my world. Spit on a little dirt and heal the blindness. If we can't move forward in our lives, it's just because we haven't been willing to go and command that part of ourselves that is paralyzed by fear to get up and walk and move forward. Whatever it is that's going on in our life, if it's still going on, it's because we haven't let that which we are shine brightly. We have the teachings, and yet I know sometimes we choose to hide. We choose to put the bushel over our light instead of hang it up high. We choose to step back instead of step forward. We choose to break down instead of break through. I know that sometimes we do that. We all do that. And that's the time to rally. That's the time to be spiritually courageous and strong. That's the time to insist that we will not give in to those old ideas that kept us from being who we were meant to be. This is still a relatively novel idea, even though the man that so much of the world calls their spiritual leader taught it over 2,000 years ago. This idea that there is something within us that we can bring forth into our lives that will be seen as miracles, they still look at us like we're crazy. And yet he said, these things and greater ye shall do also. So I'm looking for them. I'm looking for them. I know that in our center over the last year, I was kind of thinking back over the last year, we've had so many healings, so many physical healings, so many things where it looked like it was going to be terrible and it turned out okay. So many times when it looked like it was going to be one thing and it turned out to be another. We've had so many opportunities for us to demonstrate this consciousness of health and wholeness and knowing truth in our own community. We've had so many breakthroughs. We've had so many manifestations where things happen that people didn't see how they can happen, and yes, yet they did. Because we were willing to stand clear in our knowing of who we are. And in seeing ourselves clearly, we could see each other clearly. I have a dear friend that I haven't seen in a long time. When John and I were in our much younger years, we were ordained by Terry Cole Whitaker. And we had a good friend in Miami named Carlos Anderson, who was the musician at the Unity Church. And we called him to tell him that we had been ordained, and he said, "Isn't that amazing? I just got ordained. My father submitted me through his church, and I just got the notification that I've been ordained." So we threw a party. At that time, I was living on the Intercoastal Waterway, and we just threw this huge party. We had at least 100 people there or more celebrating this. And one of the songs that Carlos wrote that has always touched me so deeply was called Light of the World. And I want to read you these lyrics. He says, "Hold to your faith. Just believe in your dream. When it seems hope is gone, carry on, and you will see. Your every seeming problem fades to nothing in the light of the truth within the power of the child who brings the sunshine to the night. You're the light of the world. Can you feel the power? Holy light of the world. Shine away the sorrow as you shine, shining free, shining bright for the whole world to see. And as for me, I'm the light of the world. I can feel the power. I'm the light of the world. I will shine forever with the life within me shining bright for the whole world to see. Shine the light of the world. Feel your holy power. Shine the light of the world. Shine the light forever. Never once let it dim. From within, shine the light of the world. And I believe that that is our holy job as spiritual beings on planet Earth. To stand tall when things get tough. To move forward when we want to run. To remember who we are when the world is telling us who we're not. I think that's our holy job. And it can be H-O-L-Y or W-H-O-L-Y. Or maybe there's two L's in there. That it is the whole job of being a spiritual being, to shine our light. You got a bank account? Shine your light. You got a relationship? Shine your light. You've got a physical experience? Shine your light. You got someplace that you're going? Shine your light. Are you creating something? Is it a new venture? Shine your light. Is it an idea? Shine your light. Never let it dim, because it comes from within. And if there is any darkness at all around you, if there's any word of fear, if there's any hesitation, the only job you have is to shine your light. Go inside of your own head. You got a memory that bums you out, shine your light. Go inside of yourself, shine your light. You go out from today, shine your light. You're in the line at Ingles. Oh, Ingles is closed. You go to Waffle House, they're open on Christmas Day. Shine your light. You got kids, shine your light. Shine your light. And when you shine the light, then you become the light of your world. You've already been given the information. You've already received the teachings. There's nothing more to know here. There's only that to do and to be. Because when it comes down to it, there's only one light. It is God as you, and you are the light of the world. And so it is.